Hey, you little fucks! Welcome back to Discovering SCP.
Tan and I are in a pretty good mood because we just watched the last episode of ReZero that came out, and it was really good.
Ever.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, fuck, it ended off in a pretty good spot for that. I guess I'll have to read the fucking light novel on some shady website. The cliffhanger? What do you mean? They were dancing happily.
We're not here for Discovering ReZero.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We should start another podcast for that.
It's too late. We've already discovered it.
Yes, we are here for some SCP. So
hell yes,
how many?
Yes, I love SCP!
And now, I might be ruining the episode if you forgot or picked something else, but I believe last week you said we're going to check out the Department of Abnormalities. Is that still the case?
No, it's not. I'm the Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby! Alright.
Instead, we're doing a different request, because I forgot to ask Cactus to be on. So we're going to read this instead.
Did you forget, or were you just too shy again?
093.
Wait, why is this a number I recognize? Is this one of those ones that people ask about nonstop?
Question, yeah. It's the Red Sea Object.
It's a quiet, yeah. Oh, this is... Didn't someone say this is a really, really long one? It doesn't look that long. Just scrolling through. Oh, there's a lot of tests. Long.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Do we have to read the tests?
We'll find it. Well, there's maybe a two-part. I don't know, maybe one part. Let's find out.
All right, so
this is the Red Sea Object, and it's by Chris.
Chris. And is this one of those cases where this is an old SCP, or was this like one of those ones that someone like remade
this
or whatever?
Old boy.
Old boy. So quick question: if it's season 1, series 1, and it's so big, how? Wait, it says the first person who made this was Far 2.
Don't worry about it. It's Chris who wrote it though.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, my question is: if this is a big deal in series 1, why didn't we read it back in the series 1 days?
Because I didn't feel like it.
Cruel. Okay. I guess let's get started then.
Let's do it. Item number, SCP-093. Object class, Euclid. I've got a lot of positive energy today.
Yeah, because we just watched the last ReZero episode.
I'm reading it in a very fancy manner. Special containment procedures. You can't see what I'm doing, like Erline, who's this, showing you the 8093-T1 for outline and testing conditions.
Walk in on you doing this
SCP-093 must remain on a mirror at all times and under video surveillance. Admittance into the area of the SCP's containment unit must be authorized only with proper video recording and subject retrieval procedures in place. Any attempt to use the SCP outside of an approved test will be dealt with severely, up to and including termination.
Okay, so what we know, it's funny for however long this article is supposed to be, there's only the tiniest of special containment procedures. It has to be on a mirror. You can only use proper video recording. Does that mean you need to have some video recording to be in, or just if you're going to use it, it has to be the proper kind?
Yeah, only proper, only true video.
Okay, but you could go in. But you could go in with 0 recordings as well.
I guess.
And it has to be on a mirror. Is it like some sort of cloak?
Let's find out. What's going on. This is strange. I've never seen a SCP as strange as this one.
That's definitely not true. I mean, have you read Bobble? That one's pretty lame, but it's strange, all right.
I begin exerting my pressure.
This killing intent. Alright, no, but seriously...
Description.
Yeah, there you go.
The SCP is a primarily red disc carved from a stone composite resembling cinnabar, with circular engravings and unknown symbols carved at 0.5 centimeter depth around the entire object. Deeper cuts are present on the SCP with a depth of 1 to 1.5 centimeters. Okay. I'm trying out a new tone here.
So are all these fucking measurements, is this like going to be relevant, or is this like Series 1 itis where they're being too specific?
I think this is Season 1 itis.
Okay.
The SCP is 7.62 centimeters in diameter and fits comfortably in most palms without abrasion.
Wow, thanks for dedicating 3 sentences to that.
The SCP will change hue when held by a living individual.
Ooh.
The colours taken by the SCP are still being researched to establish a link. It's your mood. Current belief holds that the changes depend upon regrets carried by the holder.
I was literally about to make that joke. Like, I'm sure this is going to be something epic because everyone really wants us to read it, but is this just a mood ring? Like that, like you bought at the book fair as a kid?
But the changes depend on regrets carried by the holder.
Dude, I have so many regrets.
What color are they?
Definitely like orange to black.
Wow, that's pretty bad. If the SCP is removed from a mirror and not held by a person, you will seek out the nearest mirror-like surface. The SCP has been observed to travel in the largest possible circle while rolling, building up phenomenal speed.
Wait,
when
it's on a mirror, is it going to do that thing in Harry Potter, but instead of showing you like your ideal scenario, it shows you like your regrets?
Let's find out. The mechanism of this acceleration... Your regrets? Your regrets?
Yeah. Have you not heard that meme?
This acceleration is currently unknown.
Where someone got that tattooed on them and it was spelled regrets. And it was like funny because they regretted the tattoo about having no regrets.
If an obstacle is between the SCP and the nearest mirror-like surface, it will use its momentum to punch through the obstacle and continue on its course at this speed. It will only stop when a mirror-like surface is contacted. Despite tremendous impact velocities, no damage will be dealt to the SCP or the mirror.
Wow, fancy.
It likes the mirror. Yeah. Additional notes. No records exist to clarify the nature of SCP-093's discovery or presence in the Foundation. See SCP-OD. Since no records exist explaining the SCP's method of containment, a test procedure was initiated to establish why mirrors must be used to contain it.
So what is OD something that is like an actual thing, or is that specific to this SCP? Like, does it stand for...
It's specific to this.
Okay.
Overdose.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The results of the T1 led to the discovery of living beings holding SCP being able to move through mirrors, and a series of tests in T2 to ascertain the destination reached through this travel.
Somewhere Kakyoin is scoffing. There's no such thing as a world inside a mirror.
And then we have the SCP-093 original documentation. So
I think that's what OD is, Tan, original documentation.
Yes, I believe the out-of-universe lore here was this. Originally, the article was just this paragraph up ahead, and then it got rewrote into this behemoth of a novel.
Right.
So, item number, SCP-093. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Item SCP-93 is to be kept on a silver-lined mirror on a 0.3 times 0.23 meters, 1 foot by 9 inches.
Oh my god! Shut up, Series 1!
You can see this is like Series 0.
I love the idea of like the meme with the crab shooting lasers. Silence Series 1.
Pedestal at least 1.22 meters or 4 foot off the ground floor. A containment cell block blank. I don't need to know.
I'm glad they're so considerate in case there's a fucking American or British doctor present. Need to cover.
Object is not to be contained in areas exceeding 3.66 by 3.5 meters, 12 by 10 feet. I love the. Imagine if those were just completely different measurements.
Yeah,
nor placed on mahogany, pine, cherry, or aluminum pedestals above or below level 1 of containment cell block blank.
God.
Object can be handled.
So you said the lore is that this was the original document, but do you mean like in real life that was the original document?
In real life.
Okay.
Object can be handled safely, albeit gently, without consequences. Tests and consequences thereof involving containment conditions can be viewed in section B35-1 of the attached report.
Alright, to be fair, that's just the same thing as your nutritional chart bullshit. Except for
how about I kill you? How about you die right now?
Feeding.
Donnell's arm went flying off.
Nani!
Description. Object was found on the shore of the Red Sea, 30th of Jan 1968. Can you say that in metric?
Wait a minute, I just had a realization. Hold on, before we continue. So the whole thing is like, if you take it off the mirror and you're not touching it, it flies to the nearest mirror, right? And they made a big stink about how if you are in between, it'll get cut. But if you just took it off and it's not in your hand, wouldn't it just fly back to the same mirror? Unless you like held it in your hand and then sat it down on the table. So like, would it even matter? Because it would just go to that mirror. It wouldn't hit anybody.
What if there's a guy in the way?
Like in the 0.1 inches since you pulled it out with pliers?
Yeah, but you're not letting go of it straight away. You're holding it.
I guess, yeah. Anyway, what did you want me to read?
Nothing.
Oh.
Object was found on the shore of the Red Sea, 30th of January 1968. I'm just saying, can you repeat that in Imperial for me?
That is...
Emitting a low sigh and a dim blue gleam.
Yeah, January the 30th, 1968 for Imperial.
Die. Its colour has since turned into an orange mix of red, only emitting a hum of varying volume, whilst in the presence of female examiners of ages between 34 and 41. I'm not sure. There's obviously some difference between the original document here.
Yeah.
The SCP resembled a documented blue for 54 minutes, 34 minutes, 34 seconds.
Yeah.
At 1:23 on 26th of April 1986, coincidentally, when the body of 194-9834 was discovered in research facility
There's
blank.
so many fucking numbers in this article, it feels like reading algebra.
Please.
So I have a question. This article is very clearly different than the final result. Is Neko Chris the one who wrote this whole final thing in this first one?
I think he might have been the one who rewrote it.
Yeah, and the very first guy I saw was the one who wrote that thing.
I think he ported it over from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Ties between 194-9834 and the SCP remain inconclusive, and effects of prolonged exposure to 093 remain unknown, except for infrequent reports of periods of calmness. And in the case of 242-0049, as periodic waves of depression, loss of balance, and thoughts of suicide.
Wait, is this weed? Oh wow, dude, this makes me feel a lot calmer. Oh, let me try it. Okay, I want to die now.
Don't put it on the mirror!
Put it on the mirror!
These feelings have reportedly not exceeded 11 days in duration. That's how long depression lasts.
Yeah.
Objects seem to react to the presence of 242-0056 by turning light violet for no more than 2 minutes 9 seconds, as documented on 12th of March 1993.
More numbers in this article.
Isn't it crazy how when it was brought into the presence of 524-92-4222229, it went fucking rainbow?
When the imposter is sus.
Effects of this reaction remain unknown. Additional notes are...
What? Why would you say it like that?
That's how you say it in British.
What fucking possessive British? Fuck you, just keep reading.
Origins of 093 remain unknown, and documents of recovery of 093 have since been destroyed in a fire in research facility blank, 9th of December 1989.
Man, Discord's ruined me so much I tried to hover over the redacted to see the spoiler, and I was like, oh, right.
Reports on the feelings of researchers who handled 093 have remained inconsequential since 19th of April 1995. No one cares about your feelings in the Foundation.
No one cares about your feelings. The Foundation's about facts and logic and fucking apparently
facts. How about you be a bit more logical? I'll kill you.
And hyper-specific measurements in multiple fucking styles.
It's a containment test.
Tanhony, I swear to God, if I don't know exactly how many centimeters long this stone is, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Testing of the SCP against conditions set forth for existing containment procedures to assess viability of continuing such containment, beginning with changing the type of mirror used as a position of rest. Mirrored surface.
So just to be safe, amidst my dumbassery, we don't know what it does yet, other than change colors, right?
It lets you go through mirrors,
right? But like they didn't. There hasn't been a test log of anyone going through a mirror yet. It's just been that's what it does. Okay.
Retail grade mirror. SCP-93 rests without activity when placed on a mirror. This test alone removes the need for costly silver or wooden containment systems. Standard grade table. The SCP turns upright and begins to roll across the table surface in one direction. I love Neum. Making a U-turn and rolling to the other. I don't know any members of One Direction. The fuck is Neum? Completing an oval shape and repeating this action until a mirror is brought into vicinity of it. At which time the SCP rolls towards the mirror and lays flatways against it.
That doesn't sound like the high velocity zooming we heard before. This kind of sounds very delicate.
It is noted that despite the grainy feel of the SCP, it does not mark the mirror in any fashion while moving across it. Imagine rubbing it across your fucking face.
Another interesting question. What happens if you put two mirrors at exactly the same distance between it?
It kills you.
Oh.
Two mirrors at either end of a standard grade table, you fool. SCP-93 gravitates towards the closer mirror, regardless of orientation.
It says the closer, so they didn't try it when it was exactly the same distance.
And makes no distinction between different types of mirrors, favouring a factor of distance above all else and choosing the mirror to move to. A mirror held by a person and moved around. Why am I so smug about this? The SCP follows the mirror as it moves, gaining speed until a maximum velocity of is reached. That's a ridiculous number.
It's like 6 redacted.
At any velocity, the impact of the SCP against a mirrored surface results in no damage to either object. A person holding the SCP placing it on a mirror. This test was accidental, the result of one of the staff tripping another after some debate about who would be covering the lunch tab. As a result of the behaviour of the researchers, it was discovered that the person holding the SCP and placing it against the mirror will in fact move into the mirror. Okay. Addendum. Containment testing discontinued after establishing that the SCP requires only a mirror to rest inert. Testing on human interaction with mirrors while holding the SCP authorised by Dr. Tanhony.
Have they ever tried, putting a mirror on one end of 682 and then putting the stone, at the base of his tail and just letting it rip?
Fucking obliterate him. He died, actually.
That'd be pretty neat.
The mirror test. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm excited. Show me your game face.
Oh wait, hang on. Let me.
I can see you through your window.
Let me do my webcam. Let me get it on for you. Okay.
Holy shit! Is that Jeff the Killer?
That's my game face.
I can see. You're definitely the kind of guy who killed Kevin from Jeff the Killer.
Yes, I killed Kevin. I did it so easily.
Let's say about the testing protocols. Subjects testing the SCP must wear a Class 3 buckle harness strapped to the chest and attached. And also, if you could just put in a picture of Jeff the Killer for that little bit there, and attached to a tension pulley system, allowing for 300 meters, 1,000 feet of movement. Damn it!
Not even 1,000, around 1,000. They totally gave up the specific measurements.
Additional spools may be added to extend movement if necessary. The clasps connecting these spools must be high grade and capable of withstanding applied force of 0.2 tons. A field kit containing the following...
Why would you say 0.2... Hold on. A ton is 2,000 pounds, right? Hold on. How many pounds is a ton? So instead of... Yeah, it's 2,000. So instead of 0.2, why wouldn't you just say, fucking 400 pounds? Why would you be 0.2 tons?
Because they do what they fucking want in the SCP Foundation. And here's what they have. One wrist-mounted light source with 3 hours lifespan and additional power sources providing up to 6 additional hours.
I love the fucking little echo you do.
4 0.5 litre water bottles with water.
Wait. Hold on. I don't know how much water my water bottle needs to hold because there's not a fucking equivalent imperial measurement.
But thank God they said to fill the water bottles with water. I was about to put lemonade in there.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. What about sparkling water? Does it specify?
No, just water. 4 MREs of any type plus 2 plain granola bars. Chocolate chips allowed.
Fuck this test. Oh God.
One standard issue Brayton 9mm firearm with 24 rounds of ammunition loaded.
I've got to say, and I'm not making fun of this article. I'm actually having a good time so far. I know I keep interrupting with my dumbass, but I kind of realized how much I missed the sort of absurdity of how Series 1 SCPs were written. Because remember at the time you said that shit to me. You're like, oh, it's kind of overbearing, and I was like, I don't know, I like it. It's sciencey, except it's too over the top to be sciencey. It's okay, you don't need to rewrite the number every fucking time.
This is not to be issued until subject has passed into a mirror using the SCP and should be given under armed supervision, ensuring that the subject passes through entirely. This item is to be requisitioned first upon subject's return, and subject to be made aware of this before leaving line of sight within the SCP's mirror. 1. Standard issue field knife. The subject is not to be made aware of this item.
Why are they not given the firearm until after they go in?
Because they're D-class.
Okay.
What if they want to shoot the guard and leave?
Oh, I see. Why are they even giving them weapons to begin with, then, until they already know there's going to be enemies?
The subject is not to be made aware of this item and must find it on his own within the kit. It's like a fucking adventure game.
Honestly, what would be to stop them from fucking cutting the rope and just going? Oh, that's why it needs to be able to withstand applied force of 400 pounds, I guess.
Yeah. The subject must also be attached to a video system with a camera mounted on the subject's head or shoulders.
In GoPro.
The video device should be cable-based and allow for the same length of travel as the return system. Wireless cameras have shown mixed results and should only be used in testing conditions where the SCP is a currently known colour. New colours must be tested using wired feed. During testing, the colour of the SCP must be recorded, as well as a history of the subject in terms of their incarceration, to identify how the SCP determines the colour to assume. A link appears to be connected to guilt or a lack thereof in the subject's psyche.
Oh, is this like, are they going to like travel into... Okay, they're either going to travel into a representation of their psyche or like an alternate dimension based on their guilt. That's kind of neat. Okay, so we have like
test.
we have 5 colors here and then a recovered materials thing. So first you said the blue test?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of things for you to read. So, good luck.
Yeah, no worries. I've got a plan.
You want me to get some water so we can popcorn?
That was the plan, yeah.
Alright, let me get some water real quick. You entertain the audience.
So, you've come to Discovering SCP. I can guess why. You wanted to hear Darnell here, right? Unfortunately, he's not going to be living for much longer. Sorry, did I make you cry? I can see your tears through the monitor, your webcam. I'm actually crawling out, much like that woman in that film, The Ring, or Ringu, if you watch the original Japanese version. I've not watched either. That's how fucked up I am, and yet I still reference it. You know? It's this whole fucking world. You're scared right now, aren't you? It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of.
I'm back.
Apart from the... Oh, hello.
What were you talking about?
Let's get into it. I was threatening the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Let's get into it. Subject is D20384. Male. 34 years of age. Strong physique.
Hell yeah.
Subject's background shows instance of murder / attempted suicide. Subject is cooperative in all steps of testing. Subject entered the provided mirror while holding the SCP, which emitted a blue colour. Outside technicians observed that the mirror attained a true reflection until subject had completely passed into it, at which time the view changed to an outdoor landscape, heavily tinged in blue.
Did you say landscape?
Video feed follows in attached medlar.
Anomalous, can you cut back to him saying landscape? Unless that's too much work, don't worry about it.
Landscape. If you do that, Anomalous, I'm going to have to repurpose you. Camera activates. Flickers to view. Subject is looking out over the same field reported by technicians. Looks like typical lowland plains. Everything has a heavy blue tinge overlapping the normal colours. No discernible landmarks visible as subject pans view left to right. Only grass, weed, and a breeze moving the taller grass. No trees, no living beings visible. Subject moves forward as instructed, travelling for approximately 500 steps before something becomes visible. A patch of the land up ahead is barren, and grass can be seen dying.
What did you even do? I didn't hear you like burp or cough. You were just like, excuse me.
I burped, but I suppressed it.
Oh. This guy, he can suppress his burps? What kind of power?
Approximately. It's called aether cloaking.
Can you aether cloak farts, like when you're on a date?
Yeah. Approximately 300 steps forward, subject is standing before a hole in the ground. The hole has been dug using unknown tools of primitive origin. Police system engaged and the camera suffers a light shudder.
If they're unknown, how do they know they're of primitive origin?
Yeah, I don't know. Subject is instructed to enter the hole, and after mild protesting, agrees to do so. There is no apparent method of descent such as ladder or rope. Subject relies entirely on his own hands and the pulley system to slow the descent. Approximately 100 metres of cable is used before a bottom is reached. Light source provided in field kit activated 50 metres down when outside sources become unreliable. Sweeping gestures of the light reveal nothing more than dirt, even at the bottom of the hole. Subject moves forward with assistance of light source. Asked about the blue tinge, subject expresses confusion and says there is no such tinge from his perspective. And never was. That's not a reveal. I don't know why I did it like that.
So interestingly enough, I believe maybe it's because his like regrets or whatever resonates with the color of the stone, so he doesn't see it because he's used to it or something. I don't fucking know.
Light is visible down the passage and 150 metres of cable has been used. Out of the camera's eye, sound is recorded of the firearm being prepared. When he questions about these actions, subject states justified precaution and moves forward. The tunnel turns from bare dirt to a concrete enclosure. Subject complains of a stench. The light source is revealed to be ceiling light fixtures, a series of which were less than a quarter broken, while the others function. A series of 6 doors, 3 to a side, span before the camera view, with a 7th door visible at the end of the corridor that has been blocked by what looks like generic metal shelving debris. Debris shows signs of rusting, as typical of retail store units, suggesting other human presences. Subject requested to try doors, in whatever order he chooses. I'm saying like I'm controlling the scenario. Subject tries first door on right, door is locked, does not open. Second door tries to open but does not budge. Unlocked, but blocked. Closing second door. Third door is tried, same results as first. Going up the other side, the third door does open fully, and light is bright in the room. Portable light switched off at this time. Subject pans camera to inspect room.
This is the most insane reading I've ever heard. You change your fucking tone like every sentence. I can't keep up. It's distracting me.
I'm sorry, I'll do it properly. Room is bare, no contents, but walls are filthy. Subject states material on walls isn't dirt, but he can't identify it. Seems to resemble melted plastic, but is brown in colour rather than black. Door is closed. Second door on left side has no handle, does not move when pushed. The hole where the handle is plugged by unknown material. All doors are shaped in such a way that nothing can visibly escape from the side, and space for movement is too thin to look through, even at ground level. First door on left hand is locked, but part of key is present in lock from stem to the ridges. The back has been broken off.
I've got to be honest.
I'm not crazy about the descriptions of doors.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing. Like, I'm getting kind of lost because like it keep being like door, second door, third door, first door, open on left side. It's like too much for me to like. It's too much detail, you know. Makes it hard for me to understand what's going on.
With effort, subject manipulates key to open door and immediately begins coughing, complaining of a stench. Walls of room are clean as his floor. Ceiling is coated in the same strange brown material as the third room. In this room, there's a makeshift cot made from aged blankets with a pillow, a wooden crate containing open boxes of what appears to have been foodstuffs. Language appears on video as squiggles, however, subject states they simply read cereal. A second crate in the room contains what appears to be empty water bottles that have dried out. A book lays next to the cot, closed, no title or identifying marks. On the wall is what appears to be clipped articles, but language cannot be read. Subject asks to remove clippings for retrieval. All articles but one crumble at touch due to age. The intact article is put in a field sample container and seems the most recent compared to the others. Asked to investigate the book, subject begins to move towards it. Popcorn.
Audio on the tape goes strange, and a high-pitched screeching noise like grinding metal dominates all communication for 3.5 seconds. Subject does not touch the book still, and when the noise stops, subject asks Control to repeat request. Control made no requests during that time, as headsets were removed. Subject advised to leave room, and notes that the door has begun closing slowly on its own, and if left alone, will close. Subject advised to leave door alone and to investigate door on right. Careful review of the following 10 seconds of tape shows that as the camera pans, a figure is visible at the end of the tunnel where the 7th door is. The door is open only enough for a face to be seen through a crack just before the door silently closes. No details can be seen. The word door no longer means anything to me. Subject investigates...
It's like PT.
It's like what?
It's like PT.
Yeah. Subject investigates the second door on the right with no mention of anything seen out of the ordinary. The door, when pushed against, moves, and after repeated bashings, moves enough to view inside at an angle. A corkboard is visible with more articles attached to it. The top of a box of cereal can be seen on the floor, and what appears to be a hand laying palm up. Subject closes door and pans camera past door 7, which remains closed. Seeing nowhere else to explore, subject requested to return. Subject poses no protest and complains of ever-increasing stench. So one thing that hinders enjoyment of the article a little bit is because I think they've got an interesting premise here, but they do a lot of a very common thing that we often edit out and we talk about, which is like repeating a word over and over, not just door. Subject, door, floor, etc. There's a lot of repetition that kind of makes it kind of feel like a slog to read through. As subject returns back down tunnel, his camera feed does not change or show anomaly, but Control reports a sudden surge in cable movement, pulling an additional 100 meters of cable through before going slack again and then tightening. Video feed shows subject ascending tunnel slowly while Control attempts to verify integrity of the pulley system. Subject requested to stop ascend, but states he's not climbing. The rope is pulling him up. Panic sets in on both sides, and subject informed a ready firearm. Upon reaching top of hole, nothing is visible on camera, and subject reports nothing has changed in landscape, then begins a return trip following the path of the cable. Traveling for approximately 900 steps, subject asks how much cable he has used. Control admits they are unsure due to complications, but subject traveled in a straight line to reach the hole, so it should be a straight line back. I gotta say, the communication in this SCP between the D-Class and the Doctor seems a lot friendlier and more cooperative than fucking the staircase. Gotta be real.
That was Dr. Tanhony's purview, though.
Yeah, these guys are like, "Are you okay?" "Oh, we don't know what's going on." The other guy was like, "Keep going, idiot!" "Oh, for my ideals, I'll get
Dr.
a
Tanhony, please.
I'll get my thesis dissertation from academia."
I'm writing about your death.
Subject becomes concerned when he states that more cable is visible now, moving at a 90-degree angle away from a point in the ground. Subject pans camera around full circle slowly. On film, behind subject, a crowd of 37 countable figures stand silently. Features are unidentifiable, and they are lacking the blue tinge that dominates the landscape. Panic breaks in control again, but subject notes only oddity as being the cable having an angled path. Subject tugs his end of the cable, is taut and does not move. Control begins to reel in the pulley system, and slack rapidly winds. Watching the angled cable movement can be seen as grass is disturbed further down the angled portion from the reeling in, then the line vibrate. There's like a lot of run-on sentences and not a lot of punctuation. It makes it kind of hard to read. There should be a comma there. Then the line vibrates as it meets resistance and emits a twang from the record. Just in their scientific recording. Twang. Subject's camera pans back a long length of cable, which now appears to slowly be allowing more slack, before suddenly all slack is returned and pulley system begins again. Control requests subject return following cable path, and screams are caught on the audio with panic from subject. 5 shots fired as subject aims pistol at something not visible on camera. Control reports being able to see subject returning toward point of origin, while camera shows wire disappearing into a point floating in the air. As subject passes this point, all cable is now in the pulley system and camera films only the floor. Control reports that the mirror took approximately 5 seconds to return to a reflection, and SCP-093 remained blue in color until 1 hour after being recovered from subject. A vile-smelling fluid was present on subject's clothes around his hands when firearm was recovered. This fluid dried quickly and was deemed insignificant of study due to lack of quality sample. Control personnel monitoring the mirror state of having seen a massive human being crawling on the ground, easily 50 times the size of a normal person with no facial features and a very short arm reach. Okay, now this one has too many commas. I don't know how to read this. Pulling itself towards the mirror before it returned to a reflection. Due to proximity, and there should be a comma there. What is the grammar of this article? It's driving me insane. I'm not trying to be like a grammar like shithead about it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like actually hard to read.
Yeah.
Due to proximity, fine details cannot be made out, but at least one observer noted the being appeared to have been shot from the marks in the otherwise smooth, featureless face. Field test kit recovered from subject containing a newspaper article that reads date expunged and was filed as item date expunged. I gotta be honest, that test meant nothing to me. All I could make out between the grammar and the description was a lot of doors, found a thing that we are never told the significance of, and then some like weird creatures killed him. So kind of whatever. Maybe the other tests will be better, yeah?
Maybe.
I can see why you didn't want to show me this one now. I'm trying not to shit on it too much, because I know part of it is like, it's Series 1, and I know for a lot of people there's probably nostalgia, and, there's still 4 more tests. It could get better, but like so far I'm kind of not really seeing the appeal. I feel like what they have here is an extremely interesting concept, but they're not delivering on anything narratively. They're just creating spooky scenarios that are extremely vague, and then are like, all right, there you go. Anyway, I'll popcorn it back to you for mirror test green.
Subject is D54493, female, 23 years of age, average physique. Not a child like our previous one. Subject's background shows instance of Grand Theft Auto, that's the name of the game, baby, and second-degree murder of 2 children.
That's another interesting thing I noticed about Series 1 is almost every D-class, granted probably because of the whole death row thing, are like murderers, Like in later ones, they don't really touch on that as much, but they always make a point to be like, by the way, these people are murderers. They killed people, just so you know. They killed a lot of people.
So they don't feel bad when the kill monster gets them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Subject is cooperative in all steps of testing. Subject entered the provided mirror while holding the SCP, which remained a green colour. Outside technicians observed the mirror had made a true reflection until the subject had completely passed into it, at which time the view changed to a farming landscape. Heavily tinged in green. Farming, darling.
You said it like a fucking ReZero character.
Farming.
Farming.
Similar to the first test. Video feed follows in attached media. God, it's just as long. Camera activates, flickers to view. Subject is looking out over the same farmland reported by technicians. All greens through video feed are deeper, and green tinge overlays a normal colour object similar to the blue tinge in Test 1. No landmarks from Test 1 are discernible as subject pans camera over area.
Okay, so now instead of just a field, we have a farming landscape.
Present is a field.
Yeah. Never mind.
Long abandoned, in the middle of which stands the remains of a scarecrow of unknown design. I assume it was a man made out of straw. Fragments left are rotted
what do they mean by that? Like, what the fuck else is it?
Nothing grows.
We don't recognize this one. This isn't in the typical Leonardo style.
A farmhouse is visible to the right of the field. Large, 2 stories. A basement shelter entrance is visible at one end.
It's a fucking scarecrow that's like shaped like the MS Paint representation of the Chad. He's like with the arms.
Subject prepares her sidearm immediately and is asked by control to relax before proceeding. Her heavy breathing dominating the audio feed.
What is she panicking about? You see what I mean? Like, it just seems like they're creating...
She hates farmers.
None of this seems like specific to the users and the colors. It just seems like spooky scenarios for being spooky.
Subject takes a few minutes and announces that she's fine, then proceeds as directed to walk the perimeter of the farmhouse. Children's bicycles, sorry, I was called by accident. 2 boys and girls lay against the house near the shelter doors.
How do they know it's a boys and a girls, huh?
Because the blue and pink and those are the gender colours.
Hell yeah, brother.
One of the doors to the shelter lay in the grass, torn from the entrance evidenced by splintering wood. On the stairs lay clothes arranged in descending order, shoes to shirt going down them, belonging to a boy. How do you know that? Subject begins screaming at Control, asking if this is some sort of sick joke. Control assures her they have never seen this environment either.
I'm going to guess.
Calm down.
I'm going to give this article the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to assume maybe she recognizes this as like her family or like her dead kids or whatever. I don't fucking know.
Well, she killed 2 kids when I think she ran 2 kids over when grabbed off torturing.
So this one at least feels a little more related actually than the blue test, and maybe the blue test was too, and I wasn't paying as much attention. But yeah, so maybe this is related to the 2 kids she killed.
Subject takes several minutes to regain herself before continuing. It is unknown if the SCP is linking the subject's past with her landscape. After several minutes, subject agrees to continue. Communication to subject is muted, and conversation of Control making a commentary about subject's jittery attitude make up audio for 1.5 minutes. Put her on a mute. Communication restored as subject reaches bottom of stairs. The cellar of the farmhouse is unremarkable and typical. Several wooden... I was sounding really judgy there. Several wooden shelves line the far wall containing unidentified canned substances. Broken light fixtures sway from support beams. Camera is panned across the basement slowly. No evidence of footprints are visible, and the basement can be assumed to have been abandoned for some time. Subject begins to comment about a stench.
I gotta be real. I think they're spending way too much time describing scenery when they should be like making the narrative and the plot happen. It's like I hate to say this because I don't want to be like overly dickish because I know a lot of people recommend this and like it, and I really don't want to be rude before we're finishing it. But like this honestly feels like a slog to read through. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, get to the point where something happens. I get it. It's a fucking unremarkable farmhouse. There's shit going around. The camera moves. I know how discovering a place works. We've been doing that for how many episodes? Like, just get to the fucking narrative part. Like, I feel like we've just read 4 paragraphs of nothing. You know what I mean? The only thing of note is that, okay, there's things belonging to 2 kids here. Got it.
As subject pans the area, a metal hatch is visible in the ground, similar to a bulkhead on a submarine with a turn handle. Subject remarks that the smell is at its worst around the hatch, and the dirt around the hatch is noted as being clumped and clay-like. The handle of the hatch is old and the paint chipped. Subject coerced into turning the handle, which, when fully turned, opens the hatch. Subject begins coughing at the release of assumed old, stale air, just like our jokes. When camera is tilted to view down the hatch, it's a white concrete tunnel. Similar to the one found in the Blue experiment, but in much better condition. How many doors?
I think we've been telling the same joke since like episode 1. Like we literally made a Dr. Tanhony joke. Okay.
Subject asked to descend ladder, and close hatch behind her. We're back in the door hallway. Hell yes.
All right, now we have something related. Okay, here we go.
After some convincing, subject agrees to descend but does not close the hatch. Overlooked concerns about severing the pulley return system and doing so are acknowledged. Why would you tell them to close the hatch after them? Why would you even want to do that? Descent down the ladder and trip to the farmhouse is consumed.
Maybe I'm speaking too soon because we're only on test 2 of like fucking 5. But this kind of has some similarities to the stairway in that they're going through a similar environment eventually and like seeing what happens in it, like the tunnels, yeah. And they're kind of like recording what goes on. So worth noting, interestingly enough. And I'm not saying, and please don't take that as like a someone's copying someone remark, because that's not what I'm saying. I just find that an interesting parallel, personally.
Descent down the ladder and trip to the farmhouse has consumed approximately 53 metres of cable when bottom is reached. The inside of the hatch appears to be a bunker ill-suited to long-term usage. It is spacious, about half the size of the actual cellar itself, containing 3 bunks, 1 for a couple and 2 for single use.
Okay, so this is different than the door hallway. It's like a different thing in the tunnel. Interesting.
Several boxes of food, similar to those found during Blue, marked as cereal, fill a waste container near the hatch bottom. On the beds are 2 skeletons, and on the floor is a third, lying next to which is a simple 6-shooter revolver containing no ammunition.
Does this imply like the parent of the child shot themselves or something?
3 spent casings are across the floor near the gun, I assume so, yeah. On the other side, the skeletons
why would they have needed 3 bullets for that, then?
There's 3 people.
Yeah, but does that imply that this figure killed the kids and then themselves? Because I thought what happened was this girl ran over the 2 kids.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like literally, like, this is like...
Oh, just
representing 3 skeletons here, 3 bullets, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
On the other side, the skeletons are bound, book in good condition. This is retrieved and placed into a fuel kit container upon request. The gun is left alone per request from control. Subject examines more of the bunker, focusing on a desk where a newspaper has been cut and is in good condition. Clipped articles are recovered using a fuel kit container. Little else of interest to be brought back is in the bunker as the camera is panned around. Trash bags containing clothing, a few children's toys resembling popular 1950s-era products are lined against the wall. Subject is requested to leave the bunker and then sharply asked to wait by a control technician who directs the camera view to an area near the exiting doorway to the hatch. Closer inspection as subject moves in finds that the small area has been fitted with what appears to be an Ethernet jack. The coverage has been forced slightly away from the wall by a strange amber-like substance. Subject refuses to touch or collect a sample, commenting that it stinks so bad that if they want it, they can come get it themselves.
Is that the same as the shit that they found on What's-His-Face's hands? Because they mentioned both times that it smells bad.
Stinky. Control declines and subject leaves bunker. As subject grips ladder to leave, the camera pans up for a moment, and at the top of the tunnel, a humanoid figure is seen peering down. Control asks subject to confirm figure. Subject states nothing is up there and begins to climb. Figure draws out of camera view after first rung is touched by subject who ascends without incident. At the top of the tunnel, no other life is seen, nothing has been disturbed. Subject insists nothing was there and closes the hatch, then immediately vomits. Oh, there's so much more. Subject coughs.
Do you want a popcorn, buddy? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Subject coughs and uses a supplied water bottle to gargle, then freezes and asks if Control is hearing that. Control reports no audio.
That noise.
Subject approaches cellar hatch cautiously with firearm drawn and lifts her head just enough so camera can view outside area. In the distance, approximately 700 meters from the farm, 2 massive humanoid beings are crawling across the landscape. The entities do not notice the subject, who remains quiet, but whose drawn sidearm is visibly trembling. Subject requested to remain still and silent as beings move. This is also interesting to me, is like, so many D-class nowadays are just fed to their death, or it's just like whatever, but they like tried to give them guns to stand a chance, right? And the fact that they thought guns would do anything against weird anomalies, very interesting to me. It shows a non-hesitance to kill. Like in a more recent article, these big humanoids would probably have been called SCP-093-1 or whatever, and would have been But now it's just like, oh, fucking fire at will if they come at you. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting difference. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I actually kind of find it interesting and a little bit more reasonable than the whole, like, oh, don't fucking care about your own safety. We don't know how important the -1 is. So I kind of like that. The arms they used to... Oh, sorry, where was I at? I fucking got distracted by my own rant.
So beings move.
Sorry, what was it? What did you say to me?
Subject requested to remain still in silence.
Yes, as beings move, thank you. They are featureless, facing at an angle, moving across the field of vision, so the faces are only visible for a few moments. During this time, it is clear they have no facial features. The arms they use to drag themselves are short at times and long at others, stretching... Oh my god, is it the guy from that video? Stretching out to they're doing the thing he did! Stretching out to varying lengths each time they move. There is no rear area to the beings. All bodily design appears to end at the torso. The two creatures take approximately 10 minutes to disappear into the distance before the subject begins to panic and begs to return. Request declined. Subject instructed to enter the home from the cellar and not to leave the home under any circumstances. The first floor is entered through a hatch in the ceiling/floor that opens with rusty creaks that cause subject to pause for 37 seconds before continuing upward and entering a kitchen. Excuse me. A heavy layer of dust coats all items in the kitchen. The refrigerator is left open, all food is spoiled. Adjacent to the kitchen is a living area that subject enters slowly. There is a recliner, a couch, and a television, all of 1950s style design. In the recliner is a laptop whose case also resembles 1950s decor and is coated in heavy dust. Opening the laptop reveals the last moments of its operating system, Faithful OS, leaving a standby mode and immediately shutting off. Laptop has no external power source and will not power back on. When asked to recover laptop, it brings the cushion of the recliner with it, the two stuck together. Subject advised to leave the laptop where it is. It's kind of weird that there's a bunch of 50 shit and then just a laptop. The inside door leaving the home is nailed shut with thick wood planks, no attempt made to interact with these. Camera views pans to a staircase leading upstairs. Subject descends the stairs without being asked, and the stairs remain silent to control surprise. When subject reaches top of stairs, a hallway with two doors is back to the doors. Fuck me! With two doors is viewed, one on each side, and at the end of the hall a dumbwaiter is inlaid into the wall. Subject opens door on left on her own, which opens to a master bedroom. The bed is neatly made, but the wardrobe next to it is thrown open and clothes are everywhere on the floor. Subject finds laid out on the bed several pieces of jewelry and is informed to leave them. Subject begins to protest, then comments they stink and leaves them alone, promptly leaving room. Subject asks to open second door. The second door opens and gives a view of a shared children's bedroom, obviously boy and girl, given the types of toys and clothes scattered on the floor. This article would not be well received in the modern day. There is also a window which subject approaches and wipes with a curtain to clear dust. Subject requests... What
we don't know, though, is that the two bikes have the words boy and girl written on them.
Yeah, we're being... Like, every toy has boy and girl written on it. Subject requested to move camera to window and does so. The farmland is visible and approximately 40 kilometers from it at best guess a city. As the camera starts to draw back, it pans down and films the area around the house. Approximately 300 figures, similar to those from the footage captured during Blue Test, are visible around the home, all staring up. Subject asked to confirm figures, but states nothing is there. Subject requested to return and quickly agrees. Egress from the house is uneventful. Pulley system shows no erratic behavior. As subject returns to point of pulley wire's origin, a loud groaning noise causes the picture to reverberate. Technicians at control report they were also able to hear the noise and experience the vibration. Subject returns to point of origin without investigation, and mirror returns to reflective surface. SCP-093 relinquished. Video ends. Return newspaper fragments filed as blank. So, the first one, the guy died, right?
I don't think so, actually. I think he just got stinked and came back.
I thought they were implying he was, like, murdered and they dragged his body in, because they mentioned how it took an hour, but they didn't do that this time around.
Oh.
So both have made it out alive, then. I thought it was just this one. Alright, and now there's still 3 more.
We are at around... 50 minutes, so maybe time to...
And this one has less upvotes than the other two, interestingly enough. Is it less liked, or do you think people just gave up reading by this point?
I think people gave up reading by this point.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm almost hesitant to say I don't like it, because I know there's probably some merit. I know a lot of people are nostalgic, and the last time I said I didn't like an old article, everyone decided to tell me how I simply didn't understand it enough, and that I was dumb and wrong. So I don't really know... But, like, I don't know. This one's really not sticking out to me.
I feel like part 2 will go by a bit quicker, so maybe once we get through the end of it, we'll...
We don't want to keep going now? We want to end it off and do the comments and whatnot?
Yeah, we're 50 minutes in.
Okay, I guess. Let me get because I figure by the time we read comments, it won't even be an hour yet. I think we could do one more maybe, unless you also want to just stop for now. How about, do you have like a really short tale or funny we could read to fill the rest of that time as like an intermission?
Let me have a look. I might actually. I do have a joke SCP that might be a bit funny.
All right, let's do that as like an intermission, then we'll do comments. So this is to clear your palate before we do part 2 next week.
Yeah. This is SCP-777-J.
Nice.
And it's called Dark Blade.
Dark Blade! Oh, fuck yes. I'm already excited about this.
By Dex... No, it's not by Dex. No, sorry.
Oh, this one looks pretty long.
Dr. Armstrong. It's not.
Doctor who?
Dr. Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong.
Let's get into it.
All right. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the history, and I see people on here that I know from our server, like Salmon and Lieutenant Flops edited it. Nice. Item number,
SCP-777, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Even though the SCP cannot be contained, he's decided to stay at the Foundation so he can complete his mission. He is to be supplied with any and all things that he asks for. He's to stay in a room resembling a Japanese dojo with a tank of sharks, except the tank is in the floor.
Okay, this is already my new favorite SCP. Fuck. Oh, man.
Description. SCP-777, or Dark Blade, Blade for short, as he chooses to be called, is a white male of about 17 years old. He has flowing white hair with green highlights and crystal blue eyes that reflect a dark past. He is clad in ebony armour that he made himself. His effect on female personnel, which may not even be a supernatural effect, is very powerful. He is described as a smooth pimp and is totally irresistible.
Is this also series
He has chosen Iris as his bride, though, to wed when his mission is over.
His
element is water. His fucking SCP-105, the fucking camera girl.
Is this whole article like a joke on like OPOCs and like the fucking weeb shit?
Yeah.
I love it.
His element is water, which he has full control of, and he has a pet dragon, who must be referred to as Set. Blade's power of water, as well as his supernatural skill with a katana, protects him from all harm. When he's attacked in any way, water shields will appear around him and deflect the attack back to the
Unironically,
attackers.
I want to see a joke tale about him fighting like all the like most powerful SCPs and just obliterating them. Like 682 and fucking what else is the Shy Guy maybe? Fucking who's the Scarlet King? Hippo was talking about that. Whoever that is, fight him.
So we have an interview here.
Okay.
Do you want to be Dark Blade?
Yes! Thank you!
I'll be Dr. Tanhony Shire.
Awesome.
Hello, 777. I trust you are enjoying your new accommodations.
I am. But you must call me Darkblade. Your SCP name is not the one that was given to me.
Of course, Darkblade. Now, why are you staying at the Foundation?
Because, Doctor, my mission tells me I must. I'm doing the Chuny thing where I'm like putting the hand over my fucking face.
What mission is that? Darkblade looks to the ceiling.
I can't tell you, but it will save the known world.
Then I'm glad we found
This article was made for me, holy fuck. Ugh. Sorry, continue.
Closing statement. It seems SCP-777 will be a very important asset to the Foundation. I know he's our saviour, but we don't need fansize to him. Come on, people! Dr. Tanhony Shire. Addendum 1. Darkblade has recently taken up the guitar and, being a fast learner, has mastered the skill. And Addendum 2. A mild security breach was reported on blank blank blank. Darkblade has neither confirmed nor denied any part of the event, but instead grinned slyly.
What is this?
And we're not going to read
if
the
you
last...
hover over it, it's like Starblade?
Yeah, it's like an OC from someone.
Oh. So, we have establishment of Darkblade Sentinels.
Yep. We're going to leave that for the moment because that's a bunch of OCs that we've not seen. So we're not going to get any of the jokes.
What about the one about gears? Can we read that one?
Not really. Well, you can, I guess, but...
Alright. So is that the end of this article?
Like,
I was so ready to do more Darkblade. Damn it.
Darkblade.
Damn it.
I'm glad we found you.
I love it. It's even his sentinels. Fucking, I love this so much.
Time for comments.
Wait,
from our beloved viewers.
I have to upvote this.
I guess he doesn't care about your viewers. He doesn't want to read your comments.
Okay, fine. I do care about the viewers. Don't even joke about it.
You hate our viewers?
Don't even joke about that, alright? I love the viewers. Aish Teru. Let me open the fucking thing. Wait, our last Amori got a lot of views. What the fuck? Is it because I put Sweetheart in the thumbnail? Alright. Oh my god, we have 38 comments? Oh, right. I forgot one of them is like, someone had an insane conversation that was like 18 replies long.
Bring that algorithm up.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Bring that algorithm up.
Hell yeah. Pasta Rasta says, thank you so much for reading Michael the Killer. Michael will spare you because you were not bullying him. No problem, Pasta Rasta. Michael's epic, and I would never bully him because he is so rad. Steve-O-esque says, commenting so you don't have to read a Comedy Man Kelp comment! And to keep up engagement for the algorithm based and Steve-O pilled. Edit for that mispronunciation.
Nothing you can say would make me mad at you now.
Edit for that mispronunciation. I'll get around the eighth rule space eventually instead of immediately as I was planning.
Your fucking days are numbered.
Shythalia says, what if Michael the Killer was real and was the guy who wrote his backstory? The guy he killed at the street was Rastamasta and he just took over his account to post about it. Then he did the same with Ice Cream and Rusty Lung. But hey, that's just a theory. Theory?
I'm pretty sure that is the implication, as Dinotail says yes.
No, I know. They're making a joke.
Oh, okay. Don't have a joke around me again. I mean, this is serious.
Wait, don't say that. Don't say that. Do you know what Shythalia's next comment was? It was, you two are so entertaining to listen to.
You know what? You can do whatever you want in our comment section.
Maria J. Bayardi says, saw some guys...
You're missing out the best comment that I noticed before you...
Obi-Wan Canopy?
Yeah.
Also by Shythalia. I didn't want to read 3 comments from the same person. Maria J. Bayari says, saw some guys commenting about the Ambrose restaurant in part 2 of Parawatch, so I also want to suggest it. Really love those ideas. I really feel like we let down the fans, because everyone like me got hyped about Parawatch, and then we're like, here's a Series 1 SCP no one wants to see. Actually, never mind. Miguel Guida says, Tanhony, you gotta come back to Series 1 and introduce Darnell to 093. I do not feel like he's gonna like this video. I'm sorry. Look, guys, just don't tell me that I don't understand everything again, okay? I'll lie and say I like 093 if it'll prevent that. But I won't lie. I don't like it very much. Langlim says, you have wounded me, Tan. You threw away half my comment like garbage. I mean, it's probably because that comment was way too long, but I must defend my honor. Anyway, Parawatch has just been one of the corners of the wiki that I've read only a bit of and then never got around to seeing more. I'm glad Darnell enjoyed it, and I shall eagerly await the next episode. We've disappointed everyone. No one will be happy about this episode. No one. I'm so sorry. Dino Tales says, hey Tan Man and Darnell the Killer. 1. My SCP recommendations are SCP-4971 Rituals, SCP-4142 Stella Raptor, and SCP-4116 The Nightmare King in the Palace of Dreams. 2. My theme recommendation is Ambrose Restaurants. 3. Thanks guys, this video helped me through my trip to Nevada. 4. I recently showed my dad all
We're in Nevada right now, actually.
What?
We're in Las Vegas.
We are? Oh shit, we're in Las Vegas. That's right, now that we got all that
I put you inside a slot machine, now I'm gambling for your organs.
Yeah, is that what we're doing in the lore right now? Gambling on Foundation money?
Yeah.
4. I recently showed my dad all the Star Wars films. He said his favorite alien in the franchise was some Cyclops alien. I'm sure it's nothing.
I-Man!
And then there was a very long comment by someone who I think thought the SCP was real.
What?
Or either that or it was an incredibly long bit because someone like went back and forth with him and kept asking questions like, I think that's the same one from the article. Dude, wait, was it the right video? And they just kept going. So, Tanhony, how are you feeling so far? Do you have room for more comments?
Bring them.
All right. Next from Graphically, we have, I'd love for you to read through these Karens, I never know how to say that, the Greek death
Karen.
bag. Karen's series of tales, starting with scp-wiki.com/thekeysmith
Oh, that God.
bootstrap. Is a great story, involves SCP-184 and Quantum's proposal. However, it is unfortunately unfinished. For Tanhony, what is the biggest single change you have seen in the wiki? Answer that, Tanhony.
You didn't used to be able to upvote yourself, but now you can.
Yeah. Is that actually your answer to his question?
It used to be a big no-no, and now no one cares.
I thought it just did it automatically, and that's why everyone did it. I guess everyone's just a narcissist.
I went back and upvoted all mine the second it was allowed.
Wow. For Darnell, if you were a researcher for a day, which SCP would you most like to research? Well, that's easy. And it can't be Cassie? Alright, listen. Fuck off. First off, fuck off. Here's the interesting thing, because a lot of SCPs are interesting to learn about, sure, but like 95% of them will fuck you up if you screw up in researching. And a little known thing you guys might not know about me is I'm kind of clumsy and I make mistakes a lot, so I don't even know if I'd want to be a researcher. If I was, I'd want it to be
on the Discovering SCP podcast.
I'd want it to be a super easy one, like 999, that will just be nice to me and I can play with as a pet. That would be the one I want.
You say that, but like you're going to spill water on Cassie.
No, I would never. I'm not that clumsy.
You killed me.
Then from Boris WW, he made a joke I didn't get. I'm very sorry. He said, Darnell, you were probably reading the seminal work by the French philosopher Michel Foucault, Discipline and Punish, and then repressed it. That is how the memories of the term panopticon came about. Actually, I think someone just said it in a YouTube video once, and then I knew it, but I don't remember where.
What, you don't read Foucault?
No, who's that?
He's the French philosopher.
Let's just say I don't know fuck all
It's
about
kinda
Foucault. Get it? Yeah.
What?
I said, I guess I don't know fuck all about Foucault. You get it?
He's a great man.
Is he? I don't know. I can't. My neurodivergent brain literally cannot comprehend if this is a bit or not.
It is a bit. I've never read it. Like, I'm taking actual offence on behalf of the French philosopher.
Like,
he's a great man, Darnell.
Yeah, he actually inspired Aetherial Space, so if you could shut the fuck up, Darnell.
He inspired me to become who I am now.
Banker Paul says, man, that Michael guy really has to quit shoving his shitty stories on the... What do you mean shitty?
Bully!
Yeah, you're fucking dead, kid. Oh, hang on, gotta answer the door, I'll be right back. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's done for.
You're done!
Quaker Buttonnose says, "Aw, man, no Tower B, heartbreak. Tanhony, have you ever written anything for the Department of Abnormalities?"
No.
I feel like that's a lie. Have you really not?
I've not.
I thought one of the first things you wrote after we started the podcast was like a tale about it. Because I remember it was like all in different colors. Or was that Surreal Department? Surrealistics.
Oh, the Surreal Department.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I got it mixed up, yeah. Mystery Guy says, week 3 of asking for SCP-3001.
Get ready for week 4.
Comedy Man Kelp says, been meaning to get into Parawatch stuff for a while now, so this was a nice place to start. Thanks, guys. Update, I've spent the past 3 days binging through... What?
I thought you said we weren't going to read a Comedy Man.
Sorry, actually, Anomalous, edit that out. We don't want to read Comedy Man Kelp's comment.
Can you just bleep that entire... I don't want to give him platform.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're kidding.
No, actually... we'll read his comment next
bleep out. Don't bleep out. Just bleep out him asking to bleep
Comedy
out.
Man Kelp has probably been in more comment readings than any other user at this point, because he usually has the best comment. And then AnAnomalousWriter writes, Parawatch and Conspiracy Time, baby. So from what I've made out, everyone wanted more Parawatch, and the, like 2 people that wanted this SCP are probably going to be unhappy that I did not like it. So we've officially disappointed everyone.
Welcome to Discovering SCP.
But we got to read Darkblade, so everything was worth it, baby. No regrets.
No. If you're here at episode, what fucking episode? 57? This is what you're here for.
Oh my
you're ready
God.
for this.
This podcast is too long. I was complaining about 093 being too long. There's at least 57 hours. More because we've done like side Bs and shit. A fucking video you have to watch to hear our dumbasses talk about SCP. How crazy is that, Tan?
It's crazy, baby.
How many seasons of a TV show would we be? Like 2 or 3?
Well, in Britain, this would be like season 30. In any other country, this is season 3.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, ultimately, I had a good time because we joked and joshed a lot. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is going to be crazy, and maybe Tanhony will say, no, we're going to finish the SCP anyway, Darnell, fuck you. But you guys tell us in the comments if you want to.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe we...
and if everyone agrees that it's kind of boring, we'll just read something else.
That's probably the best way to do it, I would agree with you.
Yeah, so get your
As much as I loathe listening to the community.
Yeah, we love the community here. You know, maybe we'll do...
I hate it.
Maybe if you guys vote no, we'll do the Department of Abnormalities, or we'll do more Parawatch. I don't fucking know. That's up to Tan. But if you guys really want us to finish it, we'll finish it through. Because I know we didn't finish... There was like one SCP. It was like the Flesh that hates that we didn't finish, and there's still people that are mad at me about that. They're so upset.
I've had death threats.
Yeah, well don't joke about that. You're going to give people the wrong idea because that happens to people. But yeah, like, people were very upset. And by people, I mean like 3 specific people, probably. But if you guys don't care, we'll just do something else, because that was one of the most boring things I've read in a while. It wasn't like... It wasn't... At least the Dr. Bright one was kind of laughably bad, you know? Like, I had fun making fun of it, but this one was just, like, really dull, in my opinion.
Oh my god, you faded out at the end of that horrifyingly, like they fucking came for you.
Yeah! It fucking killed me for talking too much shit. What happened, you know what would be really funny? Like a joke tale about a dude who, like, lives his life on having no regrets, touches it, and nothing bad happens to him because he has no regrets. I killed 13 people, but I don't regret it because they all sucked.
I've never regretted a thing in my life.
Fucking Yoshikage Kira.
My life and actions are utterly unclouded.
They are all those of justice. That's not Yoshikage Kira, that's Funny Valentine. You're a fake JoJo fan.
Am I? Fuck. Alright, bye.
Bye! It's just you and me now, viewers. Just know that,